We coming. We coming. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, week 6 is here, October 17th, the number 10, the number 17, some powerful numbers. We got some great energy today. We got a great show planned for y'all today. Views from the 22, live on the scene, views and dues, the trick or treat edition. We're going to open it up, let the fellas get the introduction in, how they feeling, what they looking for today, and then we're just going to dive right into it. Gentlemen, Vic, let's start off with you. You're the lead off hitter today.
Yes, sir. Looks like me and MJ was on the same page here. We're in the hungry, humble, and hustle.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? You know,
Boy.
there's people watching us here, so we got to set an example. You know what I mean? And always, always be humble. You know what I mean?
That's it.
With respect.
I love it.
You know what I mean? I'm here though.
I love it. Yo, man, you already know what it is, man. If content is king, you are looking at royalty, man. You already know. You pulled up to the scene, so you know we got to give you what you need. So this is brought to you by Monkey Knife Fights. If you have not hit up Monkey Knife Fights to start gambling on the over and under as we give you this valuable information, you are missing out on a nice amount of coin. So when you do this, go ahead and go to Monkey Knife Fights. Tell them the scene sent you. Put in the same code, they'll match you up to $100 in your gambling. So don't tell us we ain't put you on. Germ, tell them what to do.
Hey man, look, coming to y'all live from the Hilton with the nice gems. Y'all know what this is. True Man, False World, reporting live from the scene. I am Mimosa Germ for the day. Y'all know what that means. It's nothing but party and BS Biggie style. Let's go.
Hey, man. Like I said, we got a great show. It's fall. If you live in certain areas of the country, you could already tell it's fall. There's more leaves on the ground. Some cold fronts pass through every now and then. You wake up in the morning, you wondering if it's going to snow. You exit at like 10 a.m. and you're like, damn, who turned the summer on? So you know it's spooky season when we got all that going on. So we're going to dive right into the energy of the universe, and we're going to talk about it. The Tricks or Treats edition of Views. Fellas, we're going to do a little roundtable thing. I'm just going to say a name. We're going to go to y'all, 10, 30 seconds each, whatever, and we're going to just keep it going. We got coaches and we got teams. Let's get it started. With coaches, we're going to talk about coaches that were hired, that when they were first hired, they looked a little sweet, looked like it was going to be the right fit, looked like it was going to be confident to the organization moving forward. But through there's been ups and downs, there's been whatever, so we're going to find out. Tricks or treats? MJ, started with you. Urban Meyer for Jacksonville. Tricks or treats?
Definitely a trick. It doesn't look like that he's able to, put the people around him to be able to learn how to do things in the NFL and be able to understand the concept that these are the best players in football. So the speed, the timing, and all of those things to run your system is different. Hopefully he can get there. See, the thing about it is when we call out somebody, it's not that we don't want them there. We just tell them where they're at right now. And right now he's not there. Trick.
Germ?
Oh, no. See, the thing with this is Entendre Sunday. So now we're going to do a double entendre. See, this is a treat because it was a treat to see him in the media and somebody in Columbus with the dispatchers not hold him accountable and block it and everything like that. It's a treat to see him with Sunshine and them over there looking bad as they look every week with them putting 2 or 3 good drives together. It's a treat because we knew he wasn't SH when we seen it. Ain't no trick. This wasn't a trick. This wasn't for play. This was serious. Get him out of there. Yeah. That's a treat.
Vic?
I mean, hey, nobody's closer to that Ohio connection there than Germ. So I guess it's both trick and treat. Trick. He tricked us. He tricked us to believe that he was a treat. This is what it is. And now we're there in Jacksonville.
Let's go.
We was trying to elevate that franchise. That franchise at one point a couple of years ago was looking good, and now they got Urban, they got Sunshine. Listen, I don't want to disrespect the player because I'm a player first kind of guy. But it's a questionable first round pick, and we'll see. I mean, he shows some potential, and then there's times where he shows kind of the inconsistencies that we see in college. So we'll see what kind of quarterback he becomes, and what kind of coach Urban becomes.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the tricks part of that one. I don't think he's, it's sort of like Jim Harbaugh with Michigan. Like, that experiment is over. Well, let's just all accept it and move on. But that will lead to something later in the show. Maybe, maybe not. That's a teaser. Speaking of, the Colts hired Frank Reich. When they first hired Frank Reich, there's a lot of good energy that he's going to turn them around. He's going to get that offensive line right. He's going to get that system right. They got Carson Wentz. He's going to get Carson Wentz right. But I think when you look at the Colts now, gentlemen, the coaching, the talent is there. The quarterback is there. You got a quarterback in place who could win you games. What's missing? And that's when you see, well, okay, they're missing coaching. Not to knock any of their staff, but it just seems like there is a certain short. Frank Reich is a great coordinator. He's a great backup quarterback. He's probably just not a great head coach. And he himself, a couple of years ago, said the same thing whenever Josh McDaniels did that little flipperoni on the Colts. So, fellas, Vic, go with you. Frank Reich, trick or treat.
So, so far, yeah, it's a trick, man. Like you said, it's just the offense seems to be not in rhythm. There doesn't seem to be any consistency. They got a great offensive line with a great young up-and-coming running back. He showed it the last couple of weeks. Emphasize that. Emphasize the run game. Mm-hmm. It seems like at the end of that game against the Ravens, they kind of fell asleep after giving up just 3 points in the first half. There was guys open all over the field for Baltimore. So, Lamar has become a much better passer, especially in zone coverages against zone coverages. So, we'll see what it is, but it looks like a trick so far.
Germ,
this is a treat. But it's not a treat for a bad reason. It's a treat because we get to see why you can't let certain people walk out your building.
Sure.
We let our best linebacker, technically, especially in coverage and with this defense that you play, walk out of the building. And that has affected what they do with their cover too a lot by letting Anthony Walker leave. But not only that, the other part of this too is you see that injuries, you see that all the things that the Colts do well, when they are percolating, as they say, or running the ball very well, they are a very, very tough team to beat. It's just they can't let the foot off the gas pedal. So I think it's a treat because I don't think he's doing a bad job. I just think that this is one of those years that you're getting acclimated with all of the pieces that you have. You're trying to find some answers for some things, and then you go from there.
MJ?
I think it's a Twinkie. Here's the reason why I think it's a Twinkie. There are some people who like Twinkies. There are some people, they will only crave a Twinkie. There is not another taste bud in the world that you can compare to a Twinkie. Either you like it or you don't. If you don't like it, stay far away from it. If you do like it, you're at every convenience store buying up all the Twinkies. This is why they're in business. With this Colts team, the verdict is still out. They started off, these first 4 teams they had to play, they started off in a gauntlet with injuries. So I can't judge them off of just playing against teams that are fundamentally better than them, and they're still trying to figure it out. They're still in the AFC South, which means more than likely, even though Houston is turning a corner, that's 4 guaranteed games if they take care of business that they can win. You split with Tennessee, now you look up. You fighting for the top of the AFC South. Mm-hmm. So, and then that could be momentum to be able to go on a nice quick run, and voila, you in the wild card at that 7th position. And now we're talking a different tone.
Absolutely.
So they're a Twinkie right now.
Okay. The next one on the list, another interesting one, young quarterback. He's young football team. Replace somebody who there was a lot of controversy, even though at most agreed he had to go. I'm talking about Cincinnati Bengals head coach, Zach Taylor. Now, when he was first hired, everybody said he's going to be the next Kyle Shanahan and the next Sean McVay. He comes from the same coaching tree, yada, 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 yada. Again, it's a little different when you're the man. It's a little different when you got the headset on and you calling the shots and you controlling all 53 and you controlling all three aspects of the game. So Zach, I think if you look at that game against the Packers, that was everything that I needed to know about who Zach Taylor is as a head coach. Just he's gonna keep his team competitive because he understands football. He has also a good understanding of what the opponent is gonna do versus what they're trying to do against them. But as far as being that guy to just see things ahead, being that guy to make the proper decisions and let you know what hang low, I just don't think he's that guy. And I think you saw that when it was a 3rd and 3, they ran it, got the 4th and 1, kicked the 50+ yard field goal. 3rd and 4, they ran it, got the 4th and 1, kicked another 50+ yard field goal. It just didn't make any sense. And it felt like a guy who was a little unsure of himself. And you can't be that as a head coach, as I'm sure MJ and Les, shout out to Les who's on the road right now, will tell you. So matter of fact, let's go to you, MJ, on this one.
Okay.
Your thoughts on Zach Taylor?
How long has Zach Taylor been in as a football head coach?
I think this is year number 2.
2 years.
Year number 2.
Years.
Okay. So with this, like, I'm going to say this is a trick only because it has nothing to do with Zach Taylor. It's just that when you have the talent that you have, windows are so small in the NFL. And unfortunately, just the way the business works, in that window, you don't want to miss out on that timing. Cincinnati, on paper, got everything they need with a young quarterback who's probably going to have the best weapons he has for a while until contracts and all that stuff start to happen. Around year 5, 6, 7, he's going to have to bring guys up because they ain't going to be able to pay everybody, which means around year 10, 11, 12, he's going to have another window. So usually when good quarterbacks come in, their first window is when they got the veteran guys during their rookie year. And then their second window is going to be when they're about 33, 34 years old, when the young guys go from pups to dogs. So I don't think they can miss this window. They need an experienced coach who could be able to turn the corner and put some more life into him. So I'm going to say trick, but I don't think that's a knock on Zach Taylor. I just think that he needs more of a position like Jacksonville.
Interesting. Vic, your thoughts?
I'm going to go with treat, man. I think that so far watching that offense has been a treat. I think that there is rhythm there. They're using the running backs, with good rhythm, mixing in the passing game. I think Joe Burrow has developed well despite his injury situation. The Jamar Chase so far has been a great pick. Even though we had questions, should they go with the blocking with some beef, or they go with a receiver that can basically do it all, and helping and blocking and stuff like that downfield, winning football type of receiver. Yeah. So I think, so far it's been a treat, man. I'm gonna give him a chance. Because it's different from what they had the past 15 years or so.
Sure, absolutely. And different in a lot of ways. More old school, traditional coach, new, innovative guy. But again, my whole point about Zach Taylor is stop hiring guys who can draw on the clipboard and start hiring football coaches. Jerm, your thoughts on Zach Taylor?
That's a big trick. And I'm going to tell you why it's a big trick. Because it's a trick. Every time on Sunday, I think the Bengals is going to win a big game, and they don't, because he just does not make the right adjustment, or he does not make the right call. Very true. I got to be honest. Like, I'm over the Zach Taylor thing. Him and Laser from last year. Yes, I say Laser. If y'all, for all my Austin Powers heads, Laser. Them type of coaches got to go. I can't do nothing with that.
Yeah.
You have elite talent, not good talent, elite talent. You have one of the best running backs out of his class with Joe. You have one of the best quarterback arguably in his class. I mean, obviously Herbert is doing his thing as well out of his class with Joe Burrow. And not only that, you got Jamar Chase, aka Mr. Odell Landry himself. And he's disgusting. Like, it's nothing there. It's nothing there on that Bengals. There's nothing on that Bengals team that's not functional. Everything is there. They still can work on the beef, obviously. T. Higgins does have to catch the ball. Vic, your boy got to catch the ball, man. I don't know what's going on. some of those drops look ugly.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it is what it is. Y'all lost that game last week, not because y'all are outplayed, because you outplayed the Packers. You lost that game because the coach didn't make the right decisions. And coaches will not, what do coaches do in these situations? As we say it all the time, coaches will lose them more than they will win them. The players got to put it in the hands of the players. And that's something that he has not done yet.
Well, the next coach on the list, Germ, to your point, has put it in the hands of his best player time and time again. And this year, it has led to his team being the only undefeated team in the NFL. And yes, indeed, I am talking about Cliff Kingsbury. And Germ, we're going to give you the treat of starting off first with this one.
Oh, God. So, Cliff, you still on the cliff, if you ask me. It's levels. It's hard for me to really give him credit, considering Kyler has matured a lot, it feels like, in an off season. AJ Green being the second receiver on this team feels different as well. Let me say that as well. Like in that Rams game, when they got on that 41-yard touchdown, being able to throw the ball deep to a big guy who basically just said, "Hey, I'm gonna put you on my back like a backpack, and you're gonna get this. We're gonna get this touchdown real quick." I think having those big targets that are sure-handed guys is what Kyler needs. And I think the AJ Green signing is a little bigger than we think it was at the time. Offensive line, it ain't never gonna be SH, if you know what I mean, because at the end of the day, he's always gonna be in that Russell Wilson effect, where he's gonna always be the guy who can get around the corner. So it depends really. It's not a lot of defensive ends right now in the NFL that do a great job of setting the edge, especially in the NFC right now. And that's something that a lot of teams are getting away from. So Kyler is not able is going to be able to get around the edges and really pressure the edges with his speed. So I'm not on Cliff so much here. I think Cliff has finally backed out of the equation a little bit and allowed the X's and O's is not the same as Rex's and Joe's. And Rex's and Joe's is what this is right now. So I'm gonna say Cliff is on his cliff, but I'm gonna say he's right there in the middle. Like MJ brought up a great category. He's a Twinkie. You know, that Twinkie could be a $20 bill. A Twinkie could be a nasty Debbie Hostess cake. You know, it is what it is.
MJ, your thoughts?
My thoughts is he's not a trick, a treat, or a Twinkie. He is literally just a space filler. This has nothing to do with Cliff Kingsbury. This has all to do with Arizona's front office getting Kyler Murray what he needs. Let me just go with applause for that, because I seldom see young black quarterbacks get all the pieces they specifically need to be great. He's short, give him big targets. It's not hard. It's not. It's simple. Really like
it's simple.
You see what he did with DeAndre Hopkins, who was a great target, and you know you can't just throw it up to DeAndre Hopkins all the time, even though you actually probably could. Give him somebody else who, just in case they're quadruple covering DeAndre Hopkins, give him somebody else who are still efficient enough to win the one-on-one. You did that with AJ Green. But also on the back end, what did you do? You got a football player on defense in JJ Watt.
Yeah.
And he may not be the JJ Watt that we've seen in his prime, but he's a motivator. You know he's going to come and he's going to work a little bit different, and it's going to have all the heads turning in that locker room like, wait a minute, this dude, how old and he doing what? That automatically elevates the locker room, and people don't understand the importance of those intangibles when you pick your veterans. If you're going to pick a veteran, you got to pick a veteran that is going to just bring more to the table than experience and production. They got to motivate a locker room.
Yeah.
So now on that defense feel like, you know what, Kyler, I know you can win games for us, but if you struggling, you good. We got it.
We got it.
We got it. We got your back. This ain't just a one-side show. We got you too. So it don't got nothing to do with the coach.
I'll give you that. No, I'll give you that. I mean, go ahead, Vic.
I had to take some notes there real quick because everything that MJ just said, I mean, he
Yeah,
been in
man.
the lab.
Yeah.
Because the front office, check. I agree with that. Because if you look at the coaching staff too, MJ, 17 years experience here with the assistant head coach, 16 years experience with the defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph. Yep. And what has been the turnaround there a lot mostly is the defense.
Is the defense.
And then the targets, like you said, the targets have been outstanding because now, like to Germ's point, Kyler has matured to where he's not just straight DeAndre Hopkins. Right. He's distributing the ball to all these targets. AJ Green is getting some love. Christian Kirk is getting some love in the slot. So Kyler has been outstanding, has been distributing the ball. This looks like a legit football team. If the Cowboys are looking legit, so are the Cardinals. And you know how at the end of the season, they both start to fall off. And you know, we got to wait and give them some time. These two teams look legit, and the Cardinals might be threatening for some NFC titles.
Okay.
And can I say something else?
Yeah,
real quick
absolutely.
And this is it's just turned into a little bit of a Cardinals love because we probably gonna segue right into some games after this anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I didn't expect Byron Murphy Jr. to be this good this fast. I thought he was a good player coming out of Washington, scouting him, but I didn't know if the size thing was going to play a factor for him. He is a guy who just competes at a high level every week. And he is the best player in that named Budda Baker in that secondary. And he is a game changer right now for them in a lot of ways. So it's players like him that make me say they can beat the Rams in a playoff game. It's players like Budda Baker that make me say they could beat them. They are one of those teams that they are the Rams kryptonite. So I think altogether, watch out for this team, man. I'm going to predict this now so everybody knows they won't fall off this year because I believe that Kyler has improved enough for them to be able to sustain success.
Okay. I mean, I think you guys covered it completely across the board. The only thing I will add is the coaching staff is the most important that's around him, which is what Vic mentioned. And so that's really the thing to keep an eye on is when you got a certain, whether it's a young QB, whether it's a young coach, it's a grown man's league. There's a lot of opponents on the other side who have seen a lot more football than you have. You need as much experience as you need. Go ahead, MJ.
Y'all seen Trading Places?
Yes, absolutely.
Cliff Kingsbury is Eddie Murphy right now. Nope. Where you got everything in place already, it's real simple to run what you need to run. It's real simple to operate a business and operate a conglomerate when all of the pieces beneath you are smarter than you, quicker than you, and already know what's going on.
Interesting. See, I haven't seen that movie since I was like maybe 13, 14. So
Wait, what's the movie again?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Trading Places.
Older movies.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I gotta watch it again.
Okay. See, so the Trading Places aspect of this, what did you compare the Trading Places aspect of this?
Cliff Kingsbury to Eddie Murphy.
Is Eddie Murphy.
You know what? That's not a terrible comparison when you think about it because of what, I mean, we just need somebody to bet $1. MJ, we just need somebody to bet $1. That's all we need.
I mean, because in certain situations, and this is just a life lesson because we like to give life lessons beyond football. In certain situations, some people just need to be in the right place in the right time and have the right relationship. They don't got anything to do with nothing more than those three. They only have nothing to do with what you know, how good you are, how hard you work. Sometimes it's just simply about timing. And all of these guys that are in the NFL, coaches-wise, even though we're pretty much saying it may not be a fit or it may be a fit, they obviously know football. Because if they didn't know football, they would be there. Now It's about the relationships. It's about the timing. It's about the teammates and the people that you have underneath you that you could talk to and answer to. If those are in line, then you're going to look like the best version of yourself. If they're not in line, you're going to look like a trick.
Hey, So we're gonna do one more segment on this tricks and treats. We're gonna do the tricks and treats versus edition. I got 6 teams. I'm gonna name them 2 at a time. Make it as quick as possible, fellas. Who's the tricks? Who's the treat? First set of teams: Green Bay Packers, Los Angeles Rams. Germ. Who's the tricks? Who's the treats?
The treats are the Rams. The tricks are
Vic.
I plead the fifth.
MJ.
I plead the fifth.
But I think we're going unanimous on this one. Yeah, okay. All right. We're going to leave this one for later because we're going to get into the matchup a little later. Matter of fact, let's dive into the matchup right now. Let's dive into our first heavyweight matchup. We're going to do things a little differently with the game picks this week. We're going to go a little slow pace, rapid pace, and slow it down again. First game, we're going to jump into the big heavyweight fight. It is a 1 o'clock game, probably the game of the week. Maybe we shouldn't do this one first, but maybe we should do this one first because there's a lot on our mind as there is every Sunday. Chargers at the Ravens, both teams 4-1. You got 50.5 as the over-under. The Ravens, 2.5-point home favorites. Vegas is telling you we really not quite sure who's going to win this game because anytime a home team is less than 3 points, yeah, that's basically a pick 'em. So where should we go? Who should we start with? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. If you want to let it go.
Hey.
let's go. You know what? Look, man, let's go. I'm about to rap.
Jared,
Hey,
Jared.
you know, hey, y'all remember when Geechee Gotti caught the coin? Coin? Let's go, man.
This game is
Catching the
exciting.
coin.
On a real
First
talk,
thing,
this game is very exciting from a matchup perspective. 2 quarterbacks, 2 young quarterbacks, the defensive ends, the pressures they create, the coaching. This is a great matchup. Go ahead, Germ.
Vic, you know what this means. It's getting ready. We gonna take this to battle rap for all my battle rap fans out there. Big 9, big clip. Listen, first of all, let's start with the offense. This Chargers offense is clicking on all cylinders right now. Justin Herbert is the best quarterback in the AFC right now. I want somebody to argue with me. I don't care who y'all talking about. I don't care about no other quarterback in the AFC right now because that man is doing the job the right way. Herbert is the best player right now on his team and is showing the quarterback position is the most valuable position for this reason. Herbert is getting this team in all of the right situations when big plays, converting third downs, all of those things that you need. He's doing them right now. And not only that, you're healthy. The curse of the Chargers is now off of them. For whatever reason it is, maybe it took some fresh blood. Maybe Phillip Rivers had to go. Maybe Phillip Rivers was part of the curse when it came down to the situation with the Drew Brees injury from all of those years ago. Maybe that was what plagued this franchise for so long was that negative energy from the Drew Brees decision. I think that's a situation that's a real possibility because I believe the football guys didn't like ugly, and that show was ugly in that situation. When it came down to it, though, this new blood, new kid, you know, he comes in, he does his thing, he works hard, he does all the small things, and look at where they are now. This is a culture-changing player, and it has been that way since the day he walked in the locker room. Derwin James is healthy. The secondary is healthy. They draft a bloodline kid. Shouts out to the merch. It is what it is, man. Chargers, it's time for you guys to step up to the plate. You got a big win last week against Cleveland. You have no reason not to be able to torch this Ravens secondary. They don't have half the talent. Vic, I'm gonna go right to you, Vic.
Hey, Jerem, listen. My guy Justin Herbert got a gun so big, but he aims it right.
Let's go.
The security caught him dragging that thing in. Never mind. So
let's go.
So, real quick, you know.
Hey, I knew it was gonna be something when he came in with the cap on.
Oh
I
my
knew it was
God.
gonna be something.
This
When
energy
he
is
came in with that
incredible. Let's
Brooklyn
go.
fitted. Yeah, Vic.
So nah, listen, man, this game is intriguing because there's been a lot of hype about how Lamar's playing, and again, we gonna give him credit as much as we criticize the players.
100%.
Certain players, we're gonna give them credit, and Lamar has
100%.
been a better passer. Again, the Colts fell asleep. The whole defense fell asleep last week because, I mean, as much pressure as they was putting on him, and they were playing faster in the first half, they fell asleep on that zone coverage. So there was a lot of guys open, especially in the middle of the field where Lamar is finding his strength. And I think now with this Chargers defense, despite the fact that they're not very good against the run, this Chargers defense is a lot faster, sideline to sideline. Everybody's healthy. The pass rushes are available. The middle linebackers are available, and the safety is available. This is the test for Lamar against a team, a playoff type defense, to see what he has. Because there's been games like just scoring 16 points against Detroit. Okay. The Colts missing all those field goals last week. Okay. So there has been games where he's kind of been bailed out, despite the fact, listen to whoever needs to listen, he has been playing well. He has become a grown man. And I said it after the Las Vegas game. He has become a grown man in this league now as a passer. And so far, little by little, he is getting better. There is still weaknesses that he needs to get better at. And we'll see again this week against the Chargers defense. Justin Herbert is just going to be able to do his thing. I don't need to say no more about that kid. That's a baller right there.
Hey, one thing, man, we got receipts longer than CVS pharmacy, okay? But what y'all gonna do every Sunday is get a dose of this labinoscopy. MJ, talk to the people.
Man, hey, you can see my people are charged up, but I understand what they're raving about. So, just what it is. So, let's go ahead and talk about Lamar. Let's go ahead and talk. I said, let's go ahead and talk about Lamar since y'all won't. I'm going to say it like this. Is Lamar, the question that I have right now, and this is really early, but the question I have right now is Lamar going to be Russell Westbrook or Giannis Antetokounmpo?
To keep it a buck.
He's going to be one of the. And, as of right now, it looks like he's trying to put the lab time in to learn the game. And the beautiful thing about, an athletic person, when they start to develop skill, they look just like a really skilled person who maximizes their athleticism. Yes. And if you look at those matchups, when you run into athletic dude to skill versus skilled dude that maximizes athleticism, it's almost like the snake versus the mongoose. It's a tie. There is no who's better. It just comes down to preference now. So saying all that to say, with Baltimore and how they play, it's just a little bit different playing against Lamar Jackson in person than it is watching that film. He's just a little bit faster than he looks. He's a little bit stronger than he looks when he's running. His arm is a little bit stronger when he's throwing those passes, and it's getting into places quicker than you expect it to get.
Right.
And it's just somebody that you just can't prepare for. You can't. So I love the Chargers, but this is AGS. And this is the reason why I went 12 out of 13 last week, because I am a firm believer in AGS for certain games. They traveling from California all the way to Baltimore. It ain't nothing to do in Baltimore. This is a trap game for the Chargers. It's not going to tell them that they're not good, but I can see them losing. I'm going with the Ravens.
Okay. Before I even give my prediction, I think if you remember a couple years ago when the Chargers played the Ravens in the playoff game, and then we posted a video on the Views from the 22 YouTube channel. It was like a 4-minute video detailing what the Chargers did against Lamar Jackson. Let's not forget that. This foundation of the blueprint of how to stop Lamar came from the Chargers. Yep. So I think today for Lamar, it's going to be a great benchmark. It's going to be great to see how much have you truly evolved. Now, the biggest thing to me, the biggest part of his growth so far is what MJ talked about, is that some of these balls are getting into tight places a lot quicker and a lot more precise. And it is making all the difference in the world. See the game last week against Indiana. Or the Colts. I don't even know why I said Indiana. Against the Colts. Like some of those, the touchdown, the 2-point conversion, the touchdown and the 2-point conversion in the fourth quarter, and then in the overtime, the one to Hollywood Brown on that little stick route right on the goal line. That was a quick, tight throw that was exactly where it needed to be. So maybe, again, shout out to this coaching staff, man. This coaching staff, we talk about how important coaching staffs really are. This coaching staff as a unit is one of, if not the best in football. And I don't think that cannot go unnoticed or unspoken about, because shout out to Dennis King. He's always showing us what the beat of the Ravens pulse is as Ravens Nation. And there's a lot of criticism towards the coaches. If there is one coaching staff who is null and void of criticism, it is the Ravens coaching staff. I don't think people truly understand how precise this offense is, because it is players who need to be in certain situations to be successful, very much like the Steelers. The difference is the Ravens have a lot more options, and the Ravens have a more explosive quarterback at this time and point in their careers. So again, Lamar has definitely improved, but it's going to be a good benchmark against a Chargers defense that knows how to get after you and a secondary that knows how to force turnovers. On the flip side, for Justin Herbert, the sky is the limit, and then some. You know, he's gonna break through glass ceilings. He's got that type of talent. He's got that type of energy. So I am very, very excited to see this game shake out. I'm very excited to see how Mark Andrews, how productive he's going to be. I'm very excited to see how the Ravens are going to stay with their run game, because I think the Ravens are a team that needs to constantly be in a certain flow. But I'm really looking forward to seeing the Chargers as well. Mike Williams is a game time decision. He has been the explosive guy for this offense. Vic, you talked about that. But Keenan Allen is still a chain mover. And Austin Eckler is still somebody who you can rely on. So this to me is going to be a back and forth 60-minute football game that's going to, even though it might be a little high scoring, it's not going. We're not going to come out and say defensive plays were not made, because I do think defensive plays will also be made. It is going to be 3 phases of good football for 60 minutes, and I'm excited to watch it. And the end, I just think the Ravens in the regular season will find a way to win this game early. So give me the Ravens by a field goal. Give me 41-38 Baltimore.
41 points for Baltimore? Psych. I'm going to just tell y'all the truth real quick. Baltimore has to hit their mark. That's just really what they have to do. They have to hit their mark. Besides at the end of the day, and Lamar can't get away from being Hollywood. At the end of the day, those are the 2 key things in order for us to get where we have to get if we're the Ravens. And then we got to make sure we keep running the dang ball, Bert. And if we do those things, we'll be in a position to win. For the Chargers, it's really simple. If we want to stay supercharged, we got to make sure that we got to hope that Mike is available, because that's going to be where we need to be. Justin is still dropping dimes. Keenan is going to be all in or all in if we spell it like his name, the middle of the field all day. This should be a game where we get, I don't think it's a shootout like it was last week. I think we get this Chargers team putting up 35. I think the Ravens put up 30. I think this is the game that we see some of those things not unfold for the Ravens now that they're playing a quarterback that can make all of the throws. So give me the Chargers 35, Ravens 30 this week.
And a little bit of irony, I had to switch locations because I needed a charger. So interesting.
No, real quick. I'm interested to see what the Chargers plan with Derwin James is. Will he be covering Mark Andrews? Mark Andrews finds himself open a lot in some of these games. And I'm interested to see what they do with Derwin. Will he play some quarterback spy? Will he cover the tight ends? It's going to be interesting because he will spend a lot of time in the box in this game.
Nasir Adderley, Vic.
Yes.
Nasir Adderley is going to be a part of this as well. The Chargers have an interesting situation. They can play man and bring their safeties down and spy on Lamar. So this is going to be an interesting team. This is going to be an interesting game.
And let me say this, even though I have the Ravens picking, the Chargers are my favorite to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
It's just AGS. I am literally putting AGS into the equation. That's
Again,
it.
It is the Ravens are very much equipped to win a lot of regular season games. And what needs to be seen for them is what can they do next. And it's going to be very contingent on their quarterback. As for the Chargers, they probably go into February, Chief. Let's just be real.
Taking the Chargers in that game too.
But I'm taking the Ravens in this one. I'm taking October 17th. I'm taking the Ravens. January 17th. I'm taking the Chargers. That's simple. Just the truth.
That's how it is.
Go a little fast pace here through these next three games. Get them out the way. You got the Rams versus the Giants. Rams 8-point favorites. I'm taking the Rams. The Giants got no Golladay, no Saquon, no hope. I'm taking the Rams by a lot. MJ.
Man, yeah.
Quick game.
Germ. Yeah. Vic. Okay. Cincinnati versus Detroit. Cincinnati is surprisingly only 3.5-point favorites, and that's because Detroit has been competitive. Detroit just can't win games. It is. Boy, listen. Yeah, there's a video I posted in the Midnight Views. There's a video of I guess it's some sort of, I don't know if it's some sort of kung fu thing. I'm not sure what it is, but this dude just keeps getting kicked in areas you really don't need to be kicked in as a man. That's probably what it is like to be a Lions fan, indeed. MJ, I'm thinking the Bengals, by the way. MJ.
Okay. This is an interesting one because when I look at the Detroit Lions, I like their running back. I like their running game, and I think they can control the game if they just double and triple down on that. And then you have a chain mover in Hockenson who also has big playability. Also like their young receivers as well, in which Goff is just getting a little bit better and building a little bit more of a relationship, but their defense is not really doing what they're supposed to do. So because of that, this is going to be a more competitive game than people expect, but Cincinnati pulls it out.
Yeah, they better. It's low-key a you better special for Cincinnati. Not that they need to blow them out, but it's you better win this one.
You need to get out of that one.
100%.
Look, man, we're going to make this real simple. To the Burrow we go. It's just really that simple. We need to make sure to the Burrow we go, make sure that the Lions always chase and get right to the point. It's really that simple. Because at the end of the day, Dan Campbell, the only thing he finishes is his breakfast. Give me the Bengals.
I see you like to do a lot of mixing with your words.
Wordplay crazy.
Okay. I mean, this is a Bengal football team, fellas, that should be 5-0 right now. Okay, you lost by a field goal to the Packers and you lost by a field goal to the Bears. Okay. Zach Taylor, even though I called them a treat, they need to finish games. They need to close games. That Packers game, as good as I thought it was, they should have won that game. It should have never got to a situation where the Packers had to miss a couple field goals and then win the game on the last field goal there in overtime. So just young football team, young coach, let's close these games. I think they should be able to beat Detroit, though, by like 10. So I got the Bengals in this game.
Only right. Next game on the docket, speaking of 10, you got Houston versus Indy. 10.5 points for Indy. I know T.Y. Hilton is back, but damn, I don't think Indy is ready to beat anybody by 10.5 points. So I'm definitely taking Indy. And yes, are you better special? But the Texans, for some strange reason, have just not been, unless you're the Buffalo Bills, the easiest team to get out. So I'm going Indy, but I am definitely going on somewhere and betting Houston with the points. MJ?
Shouts out to Lonnie Johnson from the hood. He's from Gary. So I actually, salute to him on the DB side. He's been making some plays and it's been going, overlooked because he's on a team that's just really not good, unfortunately. But when football teams play hard, when they fly around on that defensive end, they do some weird things, especially when it's conference games. This is a trap game for betting. Trap.
It is.
I'm gonna be honest. As of right now, this is like a 4th and 1 for me at the 32-yard line. I want to go for it. At some point, Houston got to win one of these motherfuckers. They got to win one. I just don't know which one it's going to be.
Don't know which one it's going to be.
I'm not going to go. I'm going to go ahead and kick the field goal because it's too early in the game. I need the points. So give me the Colts because y'all are not about to catch up on my lead because I want to do some BS.
Yeah. But you straight money line, you going Colts?
No, not the money line. Hell no. Fuck no.
Okay. All right. Okay, just making sure.
Texas is on the money line. I'm talking about us, our wins and losses. I'm going Colts.
I got you. I see. Okay. I understood. My bad. Germ?
Yeah.
Man, listen. This is the Indianapolis Colts versus how about no? It's really that simple. Give me the Colts. How about no?
Pick.
So listen, the beef for the Texans have kind of kept them in this game. They've protected well and they've actually rushed the pass well. So that's interesting, but they will be without their left tackle today, Laramie Tunsil. So that Colts front seven, especially with Buckner and Kwity Paye coming back from injury, should be able to put more pressure on this depleted Houston offensive line. So I'm taking the Colts, and they should, like you said, you better special should be able to win by 2 touchdowns.
Absolutely. Next game on the docket, they call it the oldest rivalry in all of sports. You got the Green Bay Packers traveling to the Windy City, where I'm sure it is already getting frosty around this time of the year. Over under is 44 as MJ puts the hood up. The Packers, 6-point favorites. The injury report is very important for this game. You got Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack questionable. Now, Khalil Mack has been questionable every week since week 2, but he has played every week since week 2. I think it's just one of those things where he's got something that's just bugging him, but he's not entirely 100% human. So he is just battling through it and going out there and being productive. For the Packers, Elgin Jenkins, who they're not sure whether he's a guard or a tackle. The coaching staff sees him as a long-term guard. Probably the right decision. He's a game-time decision. And then cornerback Kevin King is out. And obviously Jair Alexander is still on injured reserve. For the Bears as well, very important, Damian Williams, Tariq Cohen, David Montgomery. That's RB 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, however you want to look at it. None of them are playing in this game. Instead, it's going to be the rookie, Khalil Herbert, getting the start for the Bears at running back. Now, he did a pretty decent job last week, but again, it is a lot different when you got to beat a man. Woo! This game here is going to have plenty of flair to it, though. I can tell you that much. MJ, let's go with you. Give me your thoughts on this one.
My thoughts are the same as last week. I'm not betting against that 12. I'm not betting against him. And he has been figuring out ways to beat the Bears for the last 13 seasons he's been in there. Even though this Bears team, it just feels a little different. Justin Fields is his first year. He doesn't understand certain things to be able to close out or win football games. He's motivating them to play a little bit better than what they are. But when it comes to this rivalry and Aaron Rodgers playing, as much as it pains me to say, because my people that I care about is on the Chicago end, I can't see them beating Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. They ain't even the Packers. It's Aaron Rodgers. They're just not beating them. So give me the Packers. Probably about 4 points.
I hear you. I mean, to tell you the truth, I'm probably going to go with the Packers as well. I think, and I'm sure the fellas are going to talk about this. Vic, you and I have certainly talked about this. The Bears' offensive line is still not what it needs to be. Germ talks about Justin Fields not being able to process coverage. So I'm going to give you this little nugget. Right here. Justin Fields, when blitz, is the 29th most sacked quarterback. He's like last in the league in getting sacked when there's a blitz, which tells me two things. It tells me, one, the protection is off, and it tells me, two, the quarterback ain't processing the game. Not just the coverage, the whole game, which is two major things that both you gentlemen talked about in terms of this Bears offense moving forward with Justin Fields. So give us your thoughts on this one. Vic, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that he's still not seeing some things in terms of the blitz. Again, a blitz is considered 5 or more guys coming after the quarterback. and he's just not sliding protections where it needs to be. He's the guy seeing the field right there in front, so he needs to be better at that. But Aaron Rodgers, man, like MJ said, 20-4 against the Bears lifetime. That's a crazy stuff right there. That connection with Davante Adams is just special. One of the best connections in the history of the game. And they're just going to continue that. This Bears defense has been a lot stronger, but like we talked about, that offense is still not up to par to compete with a football team like this. Even though I think it will be a tight game, I think the Packers are going to be able to pull it off.
Okay.
So this game is in Chicago, correct?
Yes, sir.
So Justin can be a soldier on the field all he wants. It just ain't gonna translate, transition or translate into much. Justin, is gonna meet a lot of fields, a lot of turf today when it comes down to it. It's just one of them situations where you just see a team in Green Bay that always pack and bring their stuff to your house, and then they put their feet on your couch, and then they just disrespect you, and it just happens like that. So, Aaron is a disrespectful, arrogant dude. He's arrogant, Aaron, for a reason, and it's probably because of the swag that he has against the Bears, where he literally says, hey, y'all, I'm only gonna play in the third and fourth quarter, so I'm gonna have a beer in my hand during the game and everything. So give me the Packers today. Give me the Packers 27, the Bears 13. Justin, it's just.
I'll say this, right? I am taking the Packers, but for the Bears, even though it's Khalil, I would still run at them in bulk. I would just keep running and keep running and keep running, because the Packers' run defense isn't necessarily stout. You know what I'm saying? It's just when you got Aaron Rodgers, you got to put up points. So a couple things here, a couple things there. It's any given Sunday, but it definitely seems like the Packers gonna go into there today and win it. And it's got nothing really to do against the Bears, just more so against, like MJ said, Aaron Rodgers. Like, they just seems like one of those things where he's just gonna beat them, and when they're not at full strength, especially. Next couple games on the docket, some interesting, little plot twists and whatnot. Let's go to Minnesota versus Carolina. Germ, we talked about this with Sam Darnold, man. It's the last couple weeks. Especially me, he's been having me wondering, when you're a Jet all the way. They started 3-0. They've lost 2 in a row. The Vikings, even though they're 2-3, they are playing much better than I think we can give them credit for. We call them the biggest tease in football. It's for this reason. I swore that I wasn't going to fall for it, but yet here I am, because Daniel Hunter looks like the he is, and Everson Griffin has turned the clock back about 3 years. So I don't know what left I got to think. Sam, listen, man, I know you ain't got Christian McCaffrey, but this is still you got to win this game.
Mo, let me help you.
Must win this game.
Let me help you.
Listen, wait, he must win this game. But here's the problem. He's not going to win this game. Somehow, some way, the Jet side of him will fly right out at the worst possible time and crash into a ditch, not playing. Go ahead, Germ.
Hey, man, the problem is, bro, he got jet lag. My God, get this dude out of here. I'm leaving. No, what? Listen, man, at the end of the day, man, Sam has jet lag. So he still has the trauma and all the other things that he had from that jet situation from all them years on Spirit Airlines. And look, here's where we are today. So all I want for you to understand, Mo, is he still has a situation where, from riding that Trojan horse back in them USC days, where he had struggles with being able to identify different things and had trouble with small little deficiencies of making this pass or this way or opening his hips this way and all those different things. So I think for Sam, he's still trying to mature and grow as a player, but it's just not conducive for him to grow in some of the environments that he's been in. I mean, the Carolina offensive line is better than the Jets offensive line, but barely. They still need to do more work on that side of the ball, to be honest. The thing is, they've invested way too much into the playmakers. I don't think you invested way too much into Christian McCaffrey. Y'all know my stance on Christian. I think he's a good player. I just think you invested into a player that never had an injury history in college, that was one of the most used players in college football history.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes to the NFL, and then you start giving him the same volume, and then you don't expect you keep putting this Ferrari on the road. Eventually, year 6 or 7, the Ferrari is gonna start to sound like a little bit of a Pinto. And now it's starting to, now you need a wheel alignment. Now the axle broken. Now this is broken. And that's what Christian McCaffrey is, because every time he gets hurt now, he's out at least 6 weeks.
Hey, you know how much it costs to change the brakes on a Ferrari?
Go ahead. Tell the people.
No, you don't want to know. It costs more than a Hyundai. I tell you that much. Vic, your thoughts.
And there you go.
Go ahead, Jerry. I'm sorry. I thought you were done. I'm serious. I'm not joking. It costs changing the brakes on a Ferrari costs you more than a whole Elantra, bro. I'm not even joking.
Oh, man.
So to Jerm's point here about the offensive line, I got some numbers here. In the past 2 games, what was it? The Cowboys, and I forgot the other game, but they've given up 8 sacks to 19 quarterback hits against Darnold, and you could tell that kind of has affected the game. And then the Vikings are second in the league in 17 sacks, all right, and pressures. So, this is definitely a tough matchup. The Vikings have been playing much better defense the past 2 weeks. I think they've given up just 16 points average in 2 weeks. So, I mean, this is just going to be another game where, even though the Panthers, young, good-looking football team, they're playing tougher schedule. This is a tougher part of their schedule, and it's definitely starting to show. I'll leave the Sam Bradford talk for another day.
Darnold.
Me and Sam Darnold.
You're being a little too blatantly disrespectful.
Me and Germ and I will handle Mo and his, some of his things off the air later with the Sam Darnold situation. But anyhow, give me the Vikings in this game.
All right. This is my second AGS game. Every time I think Carolina has turned the corner, they lay an egg.
Bro.
Every time I want to count them out, they win.
Bro.
So guess who I'm picking for this week?
No.
Carolina. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And yes. I am picking Carolina because Carolina is that team. Whatever you think, you should go the opposite.
So
whatever the lab says, pick
I
the
mean,
opposite.
at the end of the day,
they are the Diet Bears when it comes to betting for me. They are the Diet Bears. Every time I pick, it is wrong. My first initial reaction with them is always wrong. It's always wrong. So I go opposite. It's like copying off the dumb. They're picking the other answer. That's what I do when it comes to Carolina. I look, you pick true, it got to be false then. It got to be.
So
there's only the one game that I actually wrote down a score next to was this game. So I could, as a reminder to myself, to not flip picks on the show. And it is a good thing I did that because you, sir, are very convincing, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm not going to flip. I'm going Minnesota 22-17. I'm sorry,
hey man. As long as Minnesota got one of George's Jefferson's kids on their roster, they will continue to ascend. So while we moving on up to the elite class over here, it just is what it is. I just want everybody to understand the Vikings. This is a you better special. You better beat this team this week because at the end of the day, there's two things here. First thing is Carolina's not a team that's going to pressure you a lot to score 35 plus points. If you score 25 points against Carolina, you can win. Yeah. You have to limit big plays and you have to play good situational defense. And this team has all the ability to do those things.
Sure.
So give me the Vikings, man.
You make a lot of sense. AGS.
Vic, anything you want to add before we move on?
Nah, I think I'm good with that one, bro.
Okay. Next game on the list, we got two teams in the from the same division, both 3-2. You got the Las Vegas Raiders going to the Denver Broncos. The Raiders have been in the news all week for all the wrong reasons. We will leave our opinion and our thoughts on that situation for a later time because we ain't got time for it today. We're here to talk about football, baby. We're here to talk about the 22 men that are about to strap up and go out there and duke it out. I think this is going to be a very interesting game. Jerm, go ahead, Jerm.
See, these are two teams that every time we think they grew, then they didn't. So it's like y'all didn't catch that. It's okay.
I did.
It's like, I don't know, man. Teddy is always the bridge over the water for the next quarterback. It just never seems to fail me in that situation. And then, Derek, he rides like a Pinto, but people think he's a Ferrari. So I just don't. I don't know, man. I just. This is one of them games where I really don't care who wins. I think both teams are a little bit too big for their britches, if that makes sense. The healthier team in this game prevails. So whoever's the healthier team is the team that we shall pick today. I believe the Raiders are the healthier team, if my thing serves me correctly.
Yeah, they are.
I guess I have to pick the Raiders based on we're taking that, and that's just as far as I would like to go today. But just remember, in these situations, where we think that people grew, then we realize that they didn't. Never worry about the small things like, people's character in these situations, because they wasn't SH to begin with. They were exactly who we thought they were. There you go.
Yeah. Vic, your thoughts?
Bro, this is a tough one because I don't see a team emotionally in it.
Right.
That after a situation like this, we saw what happened to the Chiefs before the Super Bowl. Could there have been an effect with the Andy Reid's son situation? Now you have a head coach where you don't know if he was looking at you the right way or not. You know what I mean? So like, what is this team? This is a team full of a lot of black men and a gay player as well. You know what I mean? So where the emotions of this locker room, it's tough to say. At one point that roller coaster was gonna start heading down anyway. As we predict all the time. So give me Denver to pull this game off, despite the fact that I like the roster that the Raiders have.
Okay.
Right.
Good, MJ.
Okay, so I've been a part of locker rooms where a lot of tragic things have happened. I've been a part of locker rooms where a lot of things happen in which character flaws and all of those. I won't speak completely on them, but I will say is this. It allowed us, when we went through that adversity, to just go out and play. It was like, okay, we went through this, let's just go play. Like, the one thing that we do have to look at the positive end for the Las Vegas Raiders on this is you got rid of a coach who, quite frankly, just had an outdated way of looking at the game.
Sure.
Just outdated. It was not going to work for a long period of time. You was going to win a few games, and you was going to end up probably being 9-8 with that coach. Hopefully, the coaching staff that stepped up, the interims and everybody around, hopefully they have some ideas and innovative ways to be able to utilize the weapons that they have, because the Raiders have weapons.
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot of weapons that they just was not using appropriately. So if they do that, I don't think the morale is going to be bad because the dude left.
Yeah.
The morale would be bad if he stayed.
Right.
If anything, they're like, okay, we got that asshole out here. Let's go just play football, man.
Let's just go play football.
Forget it. Let's just go play. So give me the Raiders by 2 touchdowns because of that.
MJ, you and I on the same frequency, because that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, to a T. The Raiders are going to be charged up. They're going to be motivated. It's going to be a long week. They just want to play football. They feel like they got rid of whatever energy was just whatever. It's just a new energy in there. They want to show that they're still a unit. I think they're going to play better as a unit. I just think it's a great time for the Raiders to win a game this week, and I think they're going to win it. Next game on the docket, Oh, boy. We got America's team versus America's team. You got the Dallas Cowboys versus the New England Patriots. 50 is the over-under. 3.5-point favorites are the Dallas Cowboys. I think when you look at it in this game, the Dallas's offense just feels like too much for New England's defense. But how much of a genius is Bill Belichick truly? Because at the end of the day, I do think he has some things in place where he can limit this Cowboys offense. So if you really wanted to bet, if you really needed a game to win, this would be it. But I would stay away. If you really needed it, and you wanted to bet on New England with the points, or just to win straight up, it's going to depend on turnovers, meaning more turnovers for the Cowboys, less turnovers for the Patriots. It's going to depend on better field position for the Patriots, not so much for the Cowboys, because it doesn't matter whether the Cowboys get the ball at the 40 or inside the 10. If they decide, hey, we want to score on this drive, they should score on that drive. So it's really going to come down to a few fundamental things in this game. But in the end, I think Dallas is ultimately just a much better team than this Patriots team. So I'm going to go with conventional wisdom. I'm not going to try to be, the contrarian or whatever. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys by about 12 points. So give me Dallas 30-20. I'll say that.
This is Wilder versus Fury. That's what this is. Dallas is a better football team in all three phases than the New England Patriots. But because the New England is going to play with a lot of heart, they're going to play with a lot of detail, and they're going to follow a strict game plan by Bill Belichick, it's going to go longer than what it should have.
Sure. Okay.
But I'm still picking the Cowboys to win, because when you're better at all three phases of the game, you should win the game.
Pick.
Yeah, man, and again, Cowboys, like MJ said, just the talent is everywhere. Obviously, Bill Belichick is still the best coach in football, but there's only so much you can do with a roster that you barely, put emphasis on some positions where it needs to be evolving, especially at the receiver position. Mac Jones is a great pick, okay, but right now he's still a rookie, still developing. I do think that this will be his first 3-touchdown game of his career. I think they score 21 points or more, and he will get 3 touchdowns based on the fact that the Cowboys defense, despite getting more turnovers, creating turnovers, they do give up the most plays over 20 yards this season. Okay, I think they have 25 big plays, if I'm not mistaken, here over 20 yards. So they do. The Patriots do not have deep threats necessarily downfield, with the quarterback kind of picking and choosing, the short and intermediate game. But I think they will get some big plays this week and score more than 21 points, but still lose to a much more talented, efficient offense in the Cowboys with the run and pass. So I guess I'll give it a score. I'll give the Cowboys 35, Patriots 27.
Okay. I hope you're right. Germ?
Only Bill I check is the one that I'm paying for. So give me the Cowboys with their premium beef, because we all know these Patriots are not what they used to be right now. No. They're a year or two away from being a year or two away.
Yeah, they're just not. Like the
a year or two.
Next 2 games on the docket is a 2-3 special. We got both teams in both games 2 and 3. You got KC versus Washington, and then you got Seattle versus Pittsburgh. KC versus Washington. KC is 7-point favorites. For KC, Chris Jones is out in this game. And for the Washington, Antonio Gibson is playing in this game, and he has a very favorable matchup this week. And I honestly think that Washington can make this game somewhat intriguing. So again, if I'm a betting man, KC on the road against Washington, yeah, I might take KC. I might take Washington with the points. That's, again, it's tempting. You know what I mean? It's very tempting.
I get it.
but then you go to click place bet slip and you're like, do I really want to do this? Nah, give me KC by about 11 points. KC 31-17.
You know what? KC only lost when they on primetime. They ain't on primetime, they handle their business. So give me Kansas City because they're not on primetime.
Term.
I mean, according to sources around the Twitter and the social media world, apparently the NFL has figured out Pat Mahomes. 16 touchdowns, second to only the GOAT. The only thing you can say is that he's thrown for a couple more interceptions than usual, which that comes with being a guy who throws the ball 190 times in 5 weeks. That's just what comes with it, bro. So we gotta start making sure. I'm just being honest.
Hey, this is a 94 collab real quick. We compared Pat Mahomes to Steph a long time ago. As of right now, this season that Pat is having this year is going to be like the season Steph had last year.
Yeah.
Last season. He
Very
did
similar.
some ridiculous stuff, but he just did not have enough. And fell short of the playoffs because of it. That doesn't mean he still ain't doing ridiculous stuff. It just means he don't got the team that he needs to win. Why is this such a hard concept to grasp? Why is this hard?
Because why it's hard? Because at the end of the day,
want him to fail.
well,
people just be fishing for narratives. That's all.
Yeah.
Big Pun got a song and he's like, it's so hard. And it's see the big pun of this is though, but here's the big pun of this. The big pun of this whole situation is that the same people who feel like they figured him out are the same people who will say that he was the biggest reason he didn't struggle in the Super Bowl. He didn't have this problem, or Pat did this, or Pat's better than every other quarterback at this. When in all actuality, there's a lot of things for even him to work on. So the big pun, like I said, is there's no consistency when it comes to Pat Mahomes. It's either extremely too high or extremely too low. We can't be in the middle with a player. And with Pat, that's what we get consistently. And unfortunately, fellas, that's just where we are.
I got a lot to say on that. I'm gonna leave it to probably tomorrow because we got about 12 minutes. Vic.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would pick the Washington football team if the defense was playing better, but quite frankly, they have not been.
Right.
Teams have been able to block that front four, and has not helped the the pass defense. They're 31st against big plays. They're 27th overall against pass yards. So this is a bad formula. For a team as explosive as the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill has been inconsistent as well as Pat, but I think that today they both find their connection. I could see Tyreek going over for like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game because that secondary and that pass rush is just not doing their job, and like we thought that they could. So, has the league figured out Pat? Maybe in some situations, but like Jerm said, he's still second in the league in passing touchdowns. There's still some explosive plays there. Let's let the season play along.
Oh my God,
folks.
Bro! Has the league
figured
out Pat?
Shout
out of here, bro!
Shout out first and
God.
foremost. Shout out first and foremost to our supporters. We love y'all, but shout out to the other fans that watch us too. We here. Let the season play along, because the celebrations will be the same at the end of the season.
Bro, I don't even know where narratives come from, and I could just tell you it is a place I don't want to go. All right, y'all can stay there in Neverland or whatever the hell y'all at, because it's just narratives. It's endless narratives, and I'm just not in the mood for any of it. You got Seahawks versus Pittsburgh. Look here, man. Geno Smith is starting the night again. It is different when you are the man. It is different when the team has a week to prepare for you. Mike Tomlin and this defense has been preparing for Geno Smith all week. And I think it is solely because of Geno Smith versus this tremendous defense in Pittsburgh on a Sunday night. I'm going with the Steelers to win this game. I think the defense will take over. TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, and all those guys will have a spectacular game in this one. It's going to be a low-scoring game, though, I do believe. Give me Pittsburgh 19-17. Vic?
I mean, I'm with you here. I think, the Seahawks, even though, they got Geno. Geno was looking good at one point during that game. I think that the Steelers just have too much defensively. The rookie Najee Harris, running back, is just has been outstanding for the Steelers. So I think they just have to keep emphasizing the run against a defense that you can run the ball against. Give me the Steelers in this game to win this one.
Hey, shout out to everybody in the comments section. Tanya in there, Les in there. Big Shot just said Geno Smith is why 94 Feet of Life is having a show tonight. MJ, go ahead, bro.
It pretty much is. So, as you guys was talking, I just literally moved Tyler Lockett to my bench. So
yeah, I gotta set my lineup too because I lost 2 in a row. I'm like Carolina out here.
Right. No, but the thing about it is,
you are with Jake.
I'm picking Pittsburgh, but it's because Seattle doesn't have the fabric that they built they had on. And they got 2 foundations that they're missing. They're missing the athletes that they need on defense to execute that cover 3 that they run. And they're missing Sierra's husband. So what else do you have?
Basically.
So just give me Pittsburgh just off of that reason alone. The 2 things that your franchise is built around, you don't have.
Jim?
I mean, we got Pittsburgh, we got Seattle and Pittsburgh in the pit of the football evening. And I'm going Pitt because it's really simple. Make sure y'all check out 94 Feet of Life tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Just to be honest with you, we're going to plug the 94 show during this segment of the show because I have nothing good to say about this game. I don't care who wins, but Pittsburgh, you should take care of business. That's simple. That's all. Hey, Vic,
Amen.
take it away.
I'm gonna set my part, bro.
Yeah, he said his part. So last game on the docket, heavyweight matchup. Although the heavyweight champ is not going to be there, that is Nick Chubb. He is out in this game. You got Arizona Cardinals versus the Cleveland Browns. 48.5 is the over/under, and the Browns are 3.5-point favorites. I'm gonna say my piece. MJ's gonna say his piece, and then Vic and Jeremy are gonna take it away and take us home. Here's my simple thing on it. I think even without Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt should still eat plenty and eat early and have dessert and all that. Okay, he's got to open the restaurant and close the restaurant, and he is perfectly capable of doing that. And they got another guy, name escapes me right now, who could be a little bit of a change.
Ernest.
That's right. Yep.
Johnson.
Yep. Cleveland go to Ernest, and then again, no matter what happens this week, nothing's going to change my opinion. Odell Beckham needs to be moved for the benefit of Odell Beckham and for the benefit of Baker Mayfield and for the benefit, most importantly, of the Cleveland Browns. In this game, I am taking, drum roll, I'm taking Arizona. Give me Arizona by a field goal. MJ?
AGS.
I know.
Give me Cleveland.
But it's a late game. But it's a late game.
It is. It has nothing to do with travel or anything like that. Give me Cleveland only for this reason and this reason alone. Cleveland's defense has the athletes to be able to make it really tough on Kyler. They got the athletes. And on offense, even though they don't have Nick Chubb, they still have the beef. They still have those 2 running backs you just mentioned to control the clock. The way you beat this Arizona team, even though they're undefeated this season, I can look at certain teams and tell the blueprint on how you can beat them. Keep Kyler Murray off that field and keep him inside the pocket. Easier said than done on the second one, but if you got athletes who can set the edge, people forget. What Cleveland did to Justin Fields was not a fluke. Cleveland made Justin Fields look like a dude that didn't belong in football. And as we're seeing Justin Fields right now, we're realizing, Justin Fields is what we thought he was. He still has to grow, but he is who we thought he was. But Cleveland was so good defensively that we actually thought, Justin sucks. We thought he sucked because Cleveland was that good. So they have the ability to play mobile quarterbacks very well. For that reason, I'm going Cleveland, and the other reason, AGS.
All right, fellas, take it away. Y'all got it.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Man, look, Vic, I'm gonna save all of the glory for you today. At the end of the day, it's really about 2 things for Cleveland. The secondary of Cleveland has to show up to play today. The real big picture is MJ. We normally don't really disagree much, but this is the problem. There's a difference between a quarterback that can throw, or excuse me, a mobile quarterback and a quarterback that's mobile.
No.
And Kyler Murray is a quarterback that is mobile because when he goes into that mode, when he's scooting around the corner, he's a meaningful rusher when he rushes the ball. That changes a lot of the dynamics of what Cleveland does because Herbert was able to escape the pocket in different situations and make plays down the field.
Absolutely.
Kyler will be able to do the same thing, but the thing is, he's also throwing to DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, and Christian Kirk. The problem with Cleveland's team right now is they have two guys that's playing out of position. They have John Johnson III playing out of position. He's your traditional strong safety that comes down and guards tight ends and probably plays too deep. Why they have him playing single high, I don't know. That doesn't fit his skill set. And then Grant Delpit has done an exceptional job coming back from the Achilles of covering tight ends and even some receivers as well. It's a shame that we don't have all of the angles so we can draw some of the plays and show you guys. But Grant has played exceptional. Like he's probably been the best coverage safety that they put on the field all this time. All that being said, no Nick Chubb, no worries, because like I said, Cleveland is 4 or 5 deep at running back. D'Ernest Johnson, you should see him today. He may have 100 yards on the ground today against this defense. And it may not even be Kareem Hunt, y'all. D'Ernest Johnson. Make sure y'all take a look at him. Number 30. He really about that life. He's really that good. So, Vic, I'm gonna save the rest for you, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Kareem Hunt, last report that came out a few minutes ago actually is that he's still not feeling 100%. He says that he will not be feeling 100%, most likely for the rest of the season with that knee and wrist injury. So you got injuries to both your top 2 running backs. But like Jerm said, D'Ernest should be able to show out a little bit. And I think that they will give him a lot more touches than Kareem this week, and he will be able to show what he can do behind that outstanding offensive line.
Vic,
Shout out to the
Felton, the other player that they brought in preseason. Mm-hmm. That means that Felton and D'Ernest will get a lot more touches today. So that package that Cleveland has with Felton in it, Felton is 25. When you see 25 on the field, if I'm Arizona, I'm automatically assuming it's going to be some type of pass. He has not ran the ball, I think, all season.
Good. Finish it off.
No, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. Kareem might also be a decoy in certain spots in this game as well. So, but shout out to the Oklahoma quarterback production there. You got the matchup here of the back-to-back first overall picks in Kyler and Baker. They got some similarities, and of course they got some differences. Kyler being able to move a little bit faster, a little bit quicker. Obviously, that's not even up for debate. Baker is, that kind of guy that likes to get out of the pocket as well and pass. They both have strong arms. I love this matchup. Kyler at this stage in their career is playing better than Baker. That's not even, I'm not even going to lie about that as much as I like Baker. But I think that because Arizona is going to Cleveland, I will pick Cleveland in this game simply because they have the home field advantage in this game. Denzel Ward also has been limited in practice, so he is beat up as well. So it's interesting to see who he will be matched up against. But I expect this the game. I think somebody's going to score 40. I think the winner in this game is going to score 40. I'm gonna go Cleveland. That will get the 42 points to Arizona's 37. I'll go 42-37 Cleveland Browns on this game.
Yeah,
Arizona goes to 6-0. It's really just the fact that I don't think Cleveland is ready. I think Cleveland is going to surge in the second half. And that's where we're going to see Cleveland go into the postseason hot and become a very, very dominant and more proficient offense. That means Baker will be more healthy. Odell and Jarvis will both be on the field. And of course, Nick and Kareem will get a chance to rest a little bit. Ride these young stud running backs and these young receivers that you have. Let your veterans get healthy and push yourself into January functioning on all cylinders with these loaded roster. If you don't do it, Stefanski, Baker, y'all on the clock. That's that simple. Arizona 6-0 today. Let's go.
So the last 2 points I'm going to make, and then we're going to close it out. First of all, 3 points actually. Jacksonville won, beat Miami on a game-winning field goal, 23-20. Yep. Second thing, the Cardinals offensive line versus the Browns defensive line. How are the Browns going to pass rush Kyler Murray? Are they going to do those stunts and those pressures? Or are they going to contain? And when they do those stunts and those pressures, how will Arizona's offensive line and quarterback communicate it and handle it? And thirdly, Cliff Kingsbury is on the COVID-19 list, which means today the Arizona Cardinals will have a black quarterback and a black head coach. So for that reason, it is a Lester Stewart special, and we are going to take the Arizona Cardinals. Shout out to our brother to win this game and go.
You made me want to change my mind with that.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. MJ, Germ, Vic, Mo Schefter, take us home, True. Enjoy the games, y'all.
22, we out the building.
94 Feet of Life tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget.
Hey, humble, some of you.